Welcome to Your Call, presented by the Headset app, the trusted tool that keeps coaches connected on game day and in practice. Today's episode features Coach Bobby Johnson, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator at Norwich University, the nation's oldest private military school and birthplace of the ROTC. Coach Johnson introduces the cycle of the snap, a mental performance framework that helps players reset, refocus, and execute with consistency one play at a time. It moves the athletes through 5 steps: get the play call, check assignment, alignment, and technique, execute with full effort, evaluate, and take responsibility. Then reset with verbal, physical, and visual cues. This process builds mental toughness and prepares athletes to handle both success and adversity. Before we get into it, let's hear from our partner, the Headset app.
The Headset app, a communication platform for coaches that makes sense. After all the technology we need is already in our pocket. No more time-consuming setup, lugging around cases, storing equipment, worrying about range, or finding the right location for your base station. The Headset app is an encrypted voice platform that is compatible with any Bluetooth headset or earbuds. The Headset app is a more secure, reliable, and easy-to-use communication system, delivered at just a fraction of the cost. Just open the app, put in your headphones, and go. At practice, on game day, or whenever. The Headset app. Download in the App Store or on Google Play today.
Whether you're coaching on the sidelines or leading in life, this conversation is packed with lessons you can put into action right away. Let's hear from Coach Bobby Johnson on the cycle of the snap.
How you doing, guys? My name is Bobby Johnson. I am the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator at Norwich University up in Northfield, Vermont. We're the oldest private military school in the country and the birthplace of ROTC. It's a pretty unique place, pretty awesome place. A little bit about me. This will be my 14th fall coaching football. I think 12th coaching college, coached at a high school, and coached at a prep school for a year each. What I'm talking to you guys today about something that I've used other places, and we're going to really implement it here at Norwich. We started to do it in the spring, and you could just see the guys' gears start to click a little better as spring ball went along. But yeah, I've used it 2 previous places, RPI 2018, 2019, for a really good culture building head coach. His name was Ralph Isarnia. And then I was at University of New England from 2021 to 2023, and Mike Lichten, the same thing. Kind of great guy for building culture. What I'm going to talk about again today, I'll put up in the screen here, is essentially called the cycle of the snap. I've never been 0-10 before in my life. I've never not won really at anything. This past year, my first year as an OC here. My best friend in coaching is our head coach here. His first year as a head coach, so we both did a ton of growing this year. Going 0-10 is a weird thing. It's every week you're like, all right, how do we get these guys to buy in still? How do we get these guys to fight? And, you could see it halfway through the year. Not that the guys are quitting, but you could see that they were like really struggling for motivation and whatnot. So we started to do this a little bit towards the end of the season, and then we really got into it this past spring ball, talking about the cycle, the snap. And essentially it's just a tool where, I've taken some bits and pieces from RPI, from UNE. Brian Kane is a great mental health training guy. Bits and pieces of that, and then put our own little spin on it here at Norwich. But, our guys are unique. Half our team is going to go serve in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Space Force, somewhere in the Coast Guard, all sorts of branches. So some of our guys on our team are willing to give their lives, potentially for our country, our freedom. And then the other half of our guys are engineering, criminal justice, business, exercise science, cybersecurity. So we kind of have 2 walks of life in our program. But I think this cycle of snap helps you, whether it's military, whether it's your civilian, whether it's, 20 years from now and someone's facing someone, trying to shoot them down in a jet fighter, or they're trying to, solve a critical problem at work. I pitched in baseball my entire life from when I was 8 to 18. My uncle played Division I baseball, and he taught me this mentality at a young age. And I always kind of struggled looking for a tool to give this to our guys. And when I got to RPI in 18, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And then when I got to UNE a couple years later, I was like, oh great, another program that uses this type of thing. But long story short, how do we get our guys to be mentally tough and attack adversity and get over adversity and move on from success, right? So, we talk about here, cycle of snap. Consistency is the truest measure of a man's mental toughness, the ability to perform under all conditions, hot or cold weather, you're ahead or behind the scoreboard. you have a great play or a negative play, you have to be able to move on and play the next snap. All right. So real easy. Our cycle of snap, it's 5 steps, essentially builds a house. It's a foundation of our program. That's why I kind of have those arrows as a house. But you're going to get the play call. We're going to get communicated from the coaches to the players. And then the players have to give and receive communication to each other. That's where it all starts. That's the basis. Once our guys get the play call, we have our checklist. And a lot of this came from an offensive line, base. And then I kind of now have made it so it's every position. But, assignment, alignment, and technique has always been an offensive lineman base for me. Hey, what's the assignment of the play call? What's the alignment of your gap, whoever's in your gap? Where's the alignment of the backer you might be assigned to? Where's the alignment of the DN, maybe in the pass protection? All right, what's their alignment? And that's going to dictate what technique you use. Okay. So once we get assignment, alignment, technique, now we have our plan. We're going through it. We're going to play this. We're going to play the snap. We're going to execute the snap. I tell the guys, we want 100% effort for 5 to 6 seconds. That's all we want. 100% effort for 5 to 6 seconds. And then we're going to about 25 seconds to catch our breath and get ready to go. Once the play ends, we have to evaluate a performance, good or bad. How do we, hey, did we have a great set there and had a great block? Or, hey, I overset this guy. I took a really crappy angle on a set. Or, hey, I had really bad first step on an angle drive and I whiffed. How do you evaluate yourself in a fast manner where now I need to, kind of reset, take responsibility and move on to the next play. Hey, if you're a pitcher in baseball, you give up a home run and it's the first inning. Well, the game's not over. It's the same thing. Hey, it's second down in the first quarter. You give up a sack. The game's not over, right? Hey, we got to move on. We got to reset. So taking responsibility, moving on to the next play, good or bad, and then it all restarts. And then the one thing I think a lot of people miss is how to actually do this. For us, our guys, when we get to the play ends and we take responsibility, this is where our mechanisms come in. I want our guys to have a verbal cue. It could be a swear. It can be something that they say to themselves. It could be a yell. But I want them to have a verbal cue. I want them to have a physical cue where, hey, they clap their hands, they pound their chest, they do something verbal, they do something physical. And then the last part that I got from Coach Kane, 18, 19, is find somewhere, whether it's top of the flagpole at the stadium, whether it's, a certain spot on the field, on the turf, just somewhere where you can look and focus for 3 to 5 seconds and clear your mind. Now we can go back to, all right, boom, what's the next play call? And now restart this whole cycle of the snap. So we'll implement this in meetings. We're going to do a drill during walkthrough this fall camp where we will do a play and I'll give a reaction, oh, hey, loss of 5. And now everybody's got to, hey, do your mechanisms, reset. But again, we started to do this in the spring, started to do it a little bit towards the end of this past fall. We had a 1-point loss at the end of the year against a good team in our league. And it was really cool to see the mental toughness because we scored with about minute 30 left to make it 31-30. And there was not one person on our sideline that was saying, don't go for 2. All of us were ready to go. All of us were ready to flip it, move on to the next play. And hey, coach, we want to go for the win. We got nothing to lose. So let's go. And I really think, starting to train our guys with this mentality really work towards the advantage there of helping our guys out. And then, I think I would finish with this is it's not hard to implement. You just have to be educated in it, do your research in it. Our head coach at RPI did a ton of research and he brought Brian Kane in to do it. I was at a camp this past week, a youth camp, and we had a woman come and talk to all our high school guys, and her name was Dr. Heather Doucette Larkin. She was great. She was another person who's all in mentality where you just have to make sure that it's a priority for your guys. I think this is something that you can't half-ass. You have to go all in with it. And I know for us as an offensive staff this year, we're really going to go all in on it. We're going to make sure that we meet about it at least once a day. I want us to have this memorized, and not just to have it memorized, but I want us to live it too. So again, we're going to start with walkthroughs. And then I really want to make sure that we implement it on game day too. I want to be able to see our guys physically, doing their cue, verbally doing their cue, physically doing their cue, and then finding a place for them to focus.
That's it for this episode of Your Call, presented by the Headset app. A big thank you to Coach Bobby Johnson for walking us through the cycle of the snap, a practical tool for building consistency, resilience, and mental toughness one play at a time. If you found value in today's conversation, share it with another coach who's working to develop their team the same way. And remember, on game day and every day, the Headset app keeps you connected when it matters most. Be sure to check out the Headset app at theheadsetapp.com. Until next time, thanks for joining us on Your Call.